Welcome to the Floyd Memorial Library podcast, where we sit down with the people who give shape, texture, and voice to life on the North Fork of Long Island. Some are rooted here by generations, others arrived by chance or choice, but all carry with them a piece of the story. We talk about what's changing, what's worth holding on to, and the currents of history, both quiet and loud, that run through this place. I'm your host, Christopher Bianchi, and for episode 205, we sit down with Bob Syron, President and CEO of Peconic Landing, and a leader whose influence on the North Fork spans more than 2 decades. With over 30 years of experience in healthcare and elder services, Bob has guided Peconic Landing since 2003, helping transform it from a retirement community into a national, recognized life plan community, one known for its cultural programming, civic engagement, and innovative approach to wellness. Under his leadership, Peconic Landing has earned national accreditation, achieved investment-grade Fitch rating, and become home to a team-oriented culture that serves more than 400 members and employs roughly 300 staff. Bob's work extends far beyond administration, from organizing the East End's first large-scale COVID-19 vaccination clinic to building meaningful partnerships like the new Center for Wellbeing with Stony Brook Medicine. He has helped position Peconic Landing as a vital institution on the North Fork. In our conversation, we talk about his upbringing, the path that brought him to Greenport, and the leadership philosophy shaped by decades in the field. We also explore his vision for Peconic Landing's future, the importance of social accountability, and what he hopes the next generation of leaders and the broader North Fork community will carry forward in the years to come. So I hope you enjoy episode 205 with Bob Syron. This episode was recorded August 21st, 2025. Thank you so much for coming on the Floyd Memorial Library podcast. It's really looking forward to talking to you today.
I'm glad to be here, Chris.
Oh, thank you. And so in the beginning, I'd like to just start off, if you can give us a little, well, before we get into Peconic Landing, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born and raised?
Sure. My name is Bob Syron, and I was born and raised in Binghamton, New York, upstate New York guy. I came from a middle-class family. My dad was hardworking, worked 3-4 jobs, and my mom was a teacher and worked at Head Start, and I think that's where my human services side comes from, and ran the WIC program for Broome County and things like that, and did clothing drives for folks. So from a very early age, I learned that I should be serving other people, I think.
And how was that growing up in Binghamton area?
Binghamton was, it's growing up in the 70s and the 80s. It was different. There's the East Side Irish, the South Side Italians, and I grew up in an Italian neighborhood, even though I'm an Irishman, and it was interesting. It was a different time of life. There's much more, I guess, diversity, at least out here. That's one thing I love about Greenport, in terms of the way I was raised. But I was exposed extensively to downtown Binghamton because my mother's Head Start program was right downtown, and she had all of us volunteer at the Head Start program from 7th and 8th and 9th grade. So after school, I'd get done with school and I'd walk down there and play with the kids on the playground or do drawing classes or things like that with them. And
coming out of high school, did you know what you wanted to do as a career?
I had absolutely no clue. I did know I liked healthcare, and I actually did not know what I wanted to do. So I ended up going to a community college, Broome Community College. Highly recommend community colleges if you're not sure what your choice is coming out. And I think I actually grew up at that college. I learned how to study. I got much better grades than I had in high school. I ended up going on to Brockport and got a bachelor's and master's degree. And went on to become a licensed nursing home administrator. I worked my way up into business. I worked a lot of different jobs within the healthcare industry, security. I worked as a nurse's aide. I did a number of different things, housekeeping, worked in dietary. So I did a lot of different things that I think helped me prepare to be a better leader for what I do and who I serve, which is my team members.
And you've been leading Peconic Landing since 2003. What initially drew you to this role?
I had been a national consultant based out of Rochester, New York. I was working for the University of Rochester Strong Health System. I had worked in 3 different hospitals prior to moving into the long-term care area. And I ended up going down to Delaware County and ran a county nursing home. And I really loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was like being mayor of a small community. And as I moved up in the I guess in the food chain within our industry, I consulted and I took on a very difficult project, opening a nursing home with 3 years experience, and then going into a difficult one and fixing it. And I was noticed by a national company. So I started working for a national company. God, when I was about 34 years old as a troubleshooter. Mm-hmm. So about every third week, they would fly me to different properties around the country, and I would do a full assessment of a community like Peconic Landing and make recommendations to the board of trustees as to what needed to happen to fix it. And I focused on the not-for-profit area, and like Peconic Landing's a not-for-profit. So I made some connections nationally, and I was actually recruited to open Peconic Landing before it opened many years ago, and I turned it down because I was pretty happy living in the Rochester area, running the community I had up there, and consulting on the side. But then at one point there was a change. My wife and I said, let's see what else is out there. I had a couple of job opportunities, and I called one of the guys I had worked with, and he was the vice president of the national company that opened Peconic Landing. He said, "Don't do anything. Let me fly you down to this property. You have to see this property." And I said, "Okay, Dan." So I came down and took a look at Peconic Landing, and I had never seen a community as beautiful as this campus. Half-mile private beach, beautiful golf course on one side, grapevines on the other side, tasting room, historic mansion, 145 acres of a little rural. It's not manicured property. It's beautiful Long Island, like real natural property. We now have about 6 miles worth of paths on the property. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, this could be really something else. So I interviewed with the board of trustees, and I felt a real sense of commitment from the board. The original founders were the people I were interviewing with. Peconic Landing was open about a year and a half, got into trouble, and they recruited me to come down and fix it. I was supposed to come down, be here for 2 years and fix it. And I was supposed to go up to Hartford and oversee about 8 other ones. So, And it was my wife. I came down here with my wife. We had 2 children at the time, and she was pregnant with our third, and she fell in love with Eastern Long Island. I was working all the time, so I didn't have as much fun as she was having. And she had stopped teaching, and she was very involved in the community. And when it was time for me to go, she told me she didn't want to leave this area. And you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. Mm-hmm. So based upon her recommendation, I went to the board of trustees and said, they want to pull me out of here. What do you think? And the board made a deal, and they actually purchased me from the national company with a longer contract, management contract. And I'm glad I did stay here because my wife passed about 7 years ago. And if I had gone on the road like I wouldn't have got to spend all those years with her. I would have been away most of the time. So, maybe God's will or I don't know, foreshadowing, whatever it may be, it was the right decision for our family. And it also, she was, very, very much into the children. It allowed me to be the president of Porter's football for 9 years, run my Oyster Ponds girls softball team undefeated, coach all different types of sports out here, and really be involved with my children's lives. So I think she probably did the biggest favor for me of anybody.
Yes, definitely. And now just even looking at your experiences over 30 years of management in healthcare and elder services, how has your leadership philosophy evolved over time?
Well, I think with experience comes wisdom. As a troubleshooter, I could go into a different property and see there's a problem and now know there is 2 or 3 different ways to solve it. In my past, I would have to go in and quickly make decisions to right-size the ship or get it out of financial trouble. And I think as you grow older and more experienced, and of course, most importantly, surround yourself with good people. Mm-hmm. Learned that from my very first day in my first internship. The gentleman said, surround yourself with good people, you'll be successful. So that's been a creed of mine my whole career. And trust those people and drive those people to do the right things by the people that we serve. And that's our mission. So the long and short of it is, I guess wisdom, patience. I've grown some patience. I'd go to church and the priest would come to me and say, "Why are you coming to church 15 minutes early?" And I said, "Well, I'm praying for patience." He said, "Stop praying for patience because God's going to keep testing you to get patience." So I think I am a much more patient person now, much more trusting because the leadership team at Peconic Landing, I have people that have been with me 18 years, 15 years, been there before me, 20, 25 years. So we're a really seasoned team, and we're a family.
Yes.
We're a family.
And you mentioned coming to Peconic Landing. That was almost a year after it opened. But even under your leadership taking over, Peconic Landing has become nationally accredited and earned an investment grade Fitch rating. What were the key strategies that helped you achieve these milestones?
It's going to sound too simple to so many people, but the simple fact is, the greatest asset we have in serving our mission is our team members, our employees, the folks who show up every single day. So we value our employees very much. And I had a philosophy from the very beginning: happy team members will make happy members. And it works every place I've ever been. So you surround yourself with a good leadership team, a sincere leadership team, someone they'll do the right thing. We will admit mistakes. And we work very hard and coach our middle leadership to value our employees and make small corrections and celebrate successes. But I can't say it enough. The greatest asset we have in serving our mission is the people who show up there every single day. And without them, we wouldn't be nationally accredited. I could design all the master plans I want, do all the strategic planning in the world, but without committed men and women coming there every single day to serve human beings. Because remember, this is not a box factory. We are caring for the greatest generation, the generations before and after. We're not moving out of the greatest generation. We're starting to move into the boomers. So we have to flex and pivot with these different types of generations. And we're smart enough to do that. But the simple fact is stay focused on the commitment to why you're there. And it's our mission. It's our people. So number one, it's always going to be our members. We exist to serve the members of Peconic Landing. This is their community. They made a major move in their life. I say at every single orientation, I open every orientation for our team members. I say, if you had 10 to 20 years to live, where would you go? These folks came to live with us. And this is their community, and we're lucky enough to serve them on a daily basis. So we work very hard to create a culture where we value people. Everybody. The members are involved. We have a lot of member-driven committees. Right before this meeting, I had a member meeting with the 3 elected cooperative residents to our board of trustees, and heard what was going on. I meet with them every single week, and I have I have focus groups with the employees without their bosses. I have town hall meetings with the employees 4 times a year. And during those focus groups, we ask, what do you like about Peconic Landing, and what can we do to better serve you as the asset that you are to this organization? And sometimes, it's interesting, but they'll say, I could use a different tool, or, if there was a different policy. And the best ideas are organic. They grow. And the best people to come up with those ideas are the people doing the jobs. So we listen. We're transparent, we communicate, and we try to keep everybody in the loop.
And you have oversee 400 members and manage a team of 300. As you mentioned, some of the programs that you do in interacting with them, is that hard to balance, the oversight with the personal connection?
I will tell you, not for me. And I got a big smile on my face. I drive on that property, and I live 3 minutes from that property in East Marion. I drive on that property every single day, and I am lucky to be there. I get to serve the generation that built the economy to let a poor meat cutter son pay his way through college and become a president and CEO. So I owe them. They are my mission every single day. That's my personal mission. And I owe those team members. The people are supporting their families and paying their mortgages. So my focus is very simple. I want to make sure that the folks who live there and the folks who live there know that they're valued, know that they're important, and do the very best by them in a sincere way every single day. So one of my favorite things about the job is I always try to end all meetings after 50 minutes. It gives me 10 minutes to go walk up and down the hallways. And that's when I get a lot of diamonds, or or pieces of gold, because I'll walk through the hallway and say, "Hello, Mrs. So-and-so, how are you?" "Well, I'm not so good today." And I'll say, "Well, why? What's going on?" And we'll have a real conversation. And I'll write down that little note when I go back to my office, and we make sure we follow up. But I truly believe in walk around management. For any of my employees who may hear this, they're going to know a trick now. Walk into the kitchen with a cup in my hand for coffee. I have coffee in my office. I don't need to go to the kitchen. It disarms people. So I just try to walk around and engage people all day long. And I really like that. I like to engage people. And I like to problem solve. We're a solution-based organization. And our team members at the highest level, to the folks whose boots are on the ground, we're all trained in this way. We have a simple thing, like a 5-foot rule. Anyone you see on the property within 5 feet, you greet them. So I'll say hi to Bill, the mailman, the UPS guy, contractors. We greet everybody. And we do this to create a sense of energy, because it's a very positive energy at Peconic Landing. The members as well. And so you think about this. And this is another thing about the job I truly love. You might make your best friends in 4 years of high school, or your college buddies for 4 years of college. I've had the luxury to work and actually lived on the property for 4.5 years, for 21 years with these folks.
Wow.
So I have real deep relationships with some of these folks, and some I don't. But, no matter what the situation is, Peconic Landing leads with sincerity, and will always do the right thing. And if we make a mistake, we own it and then fix it. And I think that's one of the things the residents respect about us. And as for, I just call them residents, but the members, they're brilliant people. I mean, we have people that, helped Apollo 13 come back when it was in trouble, that designed the lunar module, or worked for Grumman and was on the rover project, and invented HDTV, and was Henry Kissinger's chief of staff. And I mean, people who people made real history. Lawyers, doctors, a lot of teachers, a lot of college professionals, people who changed the world and changed people's lives. So I just have a simple philosophy. We owe them our best every single day.
Yes. And has Peconic Landing, it's has become known more than a retirement community. It's cultural, it's wellness, it's civic hub. Was that always part of the vision?
It came by our philosophy of innovation. And we have a philosophy of innovation, and I have a saying that I say, the train will never get to the station. No matter how well we do, we can always do better. If we just stepped up a rung on the ladder, that gives an opportunity to step to another higher rung. So because we're human beings providing services and hospitality and healthcare to other human beings, we are trying our best on a daily basis to always move forward and improve. We also believe in looking at other technologies. We have robots on the property, and we're pretty high end with our cyber stuff. But I will tell you, we're always looking at for different technologies from different organizations, because when I was working in Rochester many years ago, Kodak and Xerox were leaders in the world. And they had a total quality management program. And I went through that program because it came over into healthcare in the 80s. So I learned very quickly in my early 20s, that look to other organizations, other businesses. Don't just stay confined to your own business model or your own sector of business. Look and see what else is out there, and see if there's a way to adapt that into your organization to make your organization even better. So we do want awards, because we want the members who live there to be proud that they live in a community. It's for example, we were ranked number 1 in senior wellness in North America this year.
Wow.
In 2024. So it's we're still that until someone else gets it from us. And that was amazing. I'll be honest with you. I sat there with my chief operating officer. They did the countdown, and all of a sudden we're number 1 in North America. We got up, walked out to the lobby. We embraced, and tears ran down our face. We were proud for our residents. We were proud for our team members. And again, we're always going to strive to be the very best we can for our folks. And I can't say this enough. This is not a normal job. This is human beings providing services to other human beings. And it's very special. I'm very lucky to have this job, and I know that.
Yes. And I wanted to touch on even a tough period through COVID.
Oh,
You were instrumental in organizing the East End's first COVID-19 vaccination clinic in 2021. Can you walk us through that moment and how you mobilized that effort?
yeah, I will tell you something. I was the point of the spear, but there was a whole spear behind me. So we've always worked with everyone out here very well. We at that point during COVID, there was no political parties.
Hmm.
It was East End people who were in charge, looking for ways to get their hands around this. I would talk with Steve Ballone on the phone once or twice a week. He'd ask me how it was going. Uh, you know, Ken Lavelle's former chief of staff, Joanne Scalia, I would talk to and get to Tony Palumbo on a regular basis. Lee Zeldin would call me. I was dealing with all the politicians out here. We're all working together. That's the one thing I'm going to say. Everyone was on the same page.
Hmm.
We worked with the governor's office. We were very fortunate at that time to be, I'm on the hospital advisory committee for Stony Brook East Island Hospital. We were working with Stony Brook at that time. So Stony Brook was in the talks, and we said, hey, the closest vaccination site to the town of Southold's an hour and a half away. The town of Southold, demographically, is the oldest town in New York State. We need a site out here. So we didn't do this for Peconic Landing. We did this for the community. So working through the governor's office, and really Tony Palumbo, he was a big help during this process. He came in to visit us after this happened. We gave him a standing ovation when he walked in the door because he was so helpful. And, even the hospitals, Northwell helped us, Stony Brook helped us. Everyone, we're all helping each other through this pandemic. It was a terrible thing. We all remember it. It all impacted us permanently for the rest of our lives. But our board was confident. The board met on a regular basis. We kept our residents informed by having, I think, 137 straight days of I'd go on TV at the community and tell them what was going on.
Hmm.
We were completely transparent. We put our cases on the website. Other people weren't doing that. How many cases we had, if we had people pass. We figured the best thing to do was be completely transparent. And it gained a lot of attention for us. It gained international attention. The media was not always so nice to us, but we were in the New York Times, AP News, Washington Post. We were all over the place. But that attention we could also use to say, hey, we need a vaccination site out here. So we took some things that weren't so positive, and we used them towards our advantage. And when I had my last call with the governor's chief of staff at the time for Long Island, I said, look, this is what's going on. You can read it. It's in Australian papers. This is in French papers. Peconic Landing is out here, and we're the oldest demographic town on the North Fork. And Stony Brook stepped up, and as they have with the hospital in this affiliation, and they really did a great job. And we ran it ourselves, and we opened it up for as many slots as we could. So we took care of our members. We took care of 650 people total. And we would have done more if we had more vaccinations.
And even speaking of Stony Brook, the Center for Wellbeing is a recent partnership with Stony Brook. How did that collaboration come about, and what does it mean for healthcare access on the East End?
It's a great thing for many reasons. What happened when hospitals started to affiliate, so did doctors in their practices. So about 12 years ago, we started to see specialists leaving the North Fork.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you an example. We'd have a van go out to Riverhead once a day, 5 days a week. And then we're going 3 times a day with 4 vans and a bus. So a lot of specialists moved out to Riverhead, which, again, this being a demographically a very old town, getting a specialist was harder for older people. So one of the things when we were negotiating, who we were going to go with at the time, and Paul Connor does an amazing job with East Carolina Hospital, and I'm a strong admirer of his, and he's on my board as well as our vice chair, and he's been the chair of our board too. He's done a great job running leadership out here for healthcare for a long time. But what we negotiated was, okay, we're going to work with you, but we want specialists to come back to the North Fork. So we built a Center for Wellbeing, and they said they would staff it, and they have. So, we have Stony Brook Primary Care over there. We've just opened in Mattituck pulmonology. We have a great spinal guy out here, Dr. Stanton. He comes to Peconic Landing. And Stony Brook is bringing specialists back to the North Fork. And that's a very positive thing for you, for me, for anybody. That Center for Wellbeing is open for anybody. You can see your doctors there if you want. So, and we did that with a grant with Ken Lavelle, from Ken Lavelle's office. Was we wanted to open it to the greater community, and they said, if you do that, we'll give you a grant. And they gave us a grant. But we didn't do it for the grant. We did it because it was the right thing to do. Because Peconic Landing strives to be a good neighbor. And I go back to when I came here, the second conversation I ever had with the board chair, John May. And I said to him, so what do you really want most from me? He said, well, I want you to fix the numbers. He was a business guy, no margin, no mission. I said, okay. I said, what's second most? He goes, I want you to become a good neighbor to the North Fork. I want Peconic Landing to no longer be viewed as the rich people behind the hedges. I want them to be viewed as a partner, a neighbor, someone who's part of the community and not separate. And so I created strategies to do that, and he approved them, and we moved forward. And to this day, we try to be a very good citizen of the North Fork. And we value that relationship with community groups. They come and go from our property. We share Brecknock Hall with them, and we'll continue to do that because we're here. We live here.
And you do the John May Mile fundraiser to the Veterans Day wedding give back, and it seems like you've deeply trying to get involved in the local fabric. Why is that? Why is socially accountability such a key part of your model?
I'm going to be very honest. When I got here, our members were already out in the community doing this. Like you interviewed a Joe McKay. He had a dictionary project out here for years, and he's a great man. One of many great people that live at our property. So we actually followed the members out into the greater community from a leadership perspective and a management perspective, because they're already out there doing things. They're already volunteering for CAS. They're all doing, this is who they are. I mean, we have great people that live there. So as an organization, we're the second largest employer out here, the largest taxpayer in the North Fork. We felt a responsibility to the North Fork and to the East End as a whole to do the very best we can as citizens out here. So, for instance, the John May Mile, we started it to celebrate Older Americans Month, but we also turned it into a fundraiser for our very vital EMS and Greenport Fire Department. Those folks make many trips to our campus, and they take care of all of us out here. So we try to support EMS out here as much as we possibly can. We try to foster a really big relationship specifically with Greenport Fire Department, because they're the direct responders, and we use them quite a bit, and we will continue to do that. And we're seeing on the East End the volunteer firemen, they're not joining like they used to, and the calls are going up out here.
Yes.
So that's a real challenge. It's going to have to be fixed at some point. There's been different solutions I've seen on the South Fork. But most importantly, these men and women get up in the middle of the night or leave their job to come to one of our houses anywhere in the greater community to get someone to the hospital or make sure that they're okay. So we try to celebrate the Greenport Fire Department, support them any way we can in EMS services. And so we made it a dual event. We celebrate May as Older Americans Month, but we also use it as a fundraiser for the fire department. And we also have chosen someone who we think has made a tremendous impact every May on the North Fork and serving seniors. And we've had some great people that we've recognized, because, people deserve a pat on the back. Sometimes, being in a political office or being a leader in a community, it's not always easy. You hear a lot of things that are not positive. And again, Peconic Landing is about positivity and positive energy. So we like to recognize people who should be recognized for their service to the greater community. The Veterans Day wedding giveaway, we had a bunch of veterans at one time, colonels, generals on our property. And we got this idea and talked about it. So we give a full-blown wedding away. And the application committee is made up of members who were veterans. So they get to choose, and we try to select local folks first, but we think we should give back to the folks who serve our country. And our members are 100% behind that. So it's a beautiful event. I'm one of those guys that always tears up at weddings. So, whenever I've gone there and the swords come out and you see this amazing thing and you see this young man and woman who are serving our nation, sometimes both of them, or they're separate because someone's out in the ship or deployed. It's a beautiful thing. And it's the right thing to do.
Definitely. And were there any other lesser known ways Peconic Landing gives back even to Greenport or the surrounding community?
We do a lot of sponsorships, small sponsorships all over the place. Right now we're working with CAST and doing a drive for the backpacks for the kids going back to school. So our residents are very generous, and the residents give to a lot of different organizations out here as well. For many years, we sponsored a lot of sports teams out here and never put our brand on it. Mm-hmm. We just did it because it was the right thing to do. Little League, sponsored Little League teams, softball teams, basketball teams, football teams, Porter's football, build a gym in Greenport High School, redid the track at Greenport, redid the field at Greenport. So we focused on Greenport, but we've also done things with Southold and Mattituck in the past as well. But we focus on Greenport because then again, that's where our volunteer EMS folks are coming from all the time. So these are their children and, or their grandchildren. So we focus on Greenport a lot. We try to be a part of the community. We try to be supportive of good causes out here. We as leaders are all required to volunteer on not-for-profit boards. I'm on the hospital's board. I've been on other boards in the past out here and been on baseball boards and was, as I said, president of Porter's football for 9 years. But all of our leaders are required to volunteer on not-for-profit boards. And where our leaders go, we also will sponsor that. So we're also very involved with East End Arts. We have been for years. Great organization. CAS is an amazing organization. What it does for our folks are amazing organization. I was just at their birthday celebration a week ago. So there's a lot of great people out here doing great things. So Peconic Landing sees that, and we'll find a way to step in and assist if we can or help, because we do have resources. We're a large organization.
Mm-hmm. And you've also made it a point to mentor future nursing home administrators. What do you think the next generation of leaders in aging services need to understand most?
You should never forget that you're serving people. You're serving human beings. I don't care how technology changes or what goes on. We're serving people's mothers and fathers and grandparents. We're serving, as I said before, people that built the greatest economy in the world, in the greatest country in the world, and allowed us to have the lifestyles that we have. So we're serving human beings. That's the most important thing. And that's why we always believe in leading with sincerity and being completely transparent with whoever we're dealing with. I think that's the fact that you have to go in every single day and deal with people. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So, we have a value system in place. We do a lot of trainings. We do a lot of hospitality trainings because, not all customers are always happy. And they're not always going to be happy. So we arm our folks with good training so that they can best serve the folks, or say, let me step away and get someone to help you. I think leaders should realize that this is your mission. You need to maintain integrity. You need to do the right thing. And if you didn't do the right thing, let people know and then do the right thing again. So right now we have 3 interns this summer at Peconic Landing, paid internships, as a matter of fact. And I'm on my 32nd intern in 21 years here.
Wow.
And I did at least 20 where I was before. And I'll tell you, the truth of the matter is, if a gentleman didn't give me an internship in a nursing home in 1986, I wouldn't be in this industry. I wouldn't have discovered this amazing opportunity I've had to serve other people for all these years. So I have to pay back. So we take interns for enlisting. We usually like someone about their senior year of college, and we've trained 4 licensed administrators. Very proud of them. But we've trained many folks who work in healthcare who didn't get their license. And I'm not sure. Well, the one gentleman who was our intern this summer, he's getting his MBA, so he'll be a finance guy. The other one's getting a marketing degree, so she'll be in marketing. And the one who's directly working for me right now, I'm not sure if she'll go into healthcare or not, but I think she should. She's really doing a remarkable job. She's very smart. And what I like about, because you see different people with different styles, and many styles can be successful, but when you see someone that has a genuine connection with other people, those are folks who should be working with other human beings because they listen. They have empathy. They listen. They understand. They smile. I call it. I walk around and I call it. We plant seeds of goodness. We walk through the property and smile at people, and we look for things to say to them that are positive. Like I like crazy socks, and there's a couple other residents do this. So let me see your socks today. Just simple little things like you get a smile. Putting a hand on someone's shoulder who may be a widower who hasn't had anyone touch them in a day. So we try to do things that are sincere and genuine, and we try to do the right thing, and that is serve them to the very best of our ability. And as I said, I can't say this enough. The greatest asset any organization has is its people who show up every single day to serve it.
Yes. And what leadership lessons do you hope your team and interns take away from their time under your guidance?
Always do the right thing. And sometimes you think it's the right thing and it may not be. So you have to be smart enough to understand it. Have humility. I know when I walk down the hallway, I'm the president and CEO of that company. And as I pass those residents, I know they've already lived my life. Some have been international, diplomats. Some have been lawyers, doctors. They're all human beings, though. So I never walk down there. My title really is, my number one job is I am the chief bottle washer and, whatever has to be done guy. Because the simple fact is we have great people we serve. And you'll find some of the very greatest ones are the most folks with humility. And they don't want to talk about it. We have people, special forces, served our country, have done things for us that I could never imagine. So I think what you do is you treat people well, and you respect them. Most importantly, I hope people learn to listen more. There's so many things going on, so much social media, a lot of noise. A lot of noise is going on, and I think real thoughts and genuine conversations are sometimes getting lost. And I try to have genuine conversations every day with the folks who I meet with in my office, as well as the people who I see in the halls, or I just stepped out of a committee meeting earlier, and I said at the end, is there anything else that we missed? Is there anything else anyone would like to say today? Because I want to make sure I'm listening. And if I think it's important, I write it down and follow through. I have 3 major meetings a month. I have a town hall, and I get up and I present the strategic plan of the company. 4 times a year, we tell them how we're doing financially. This is how transparent we are. We tell them what we're looking to do and why. We're redoing the parking lot. We put the plans up. When we did a $44 million expansion, we put the plans up. That took feedback. And then I have 2 really cool meetings, and they're my favorite meetings. We call them afternoon chat and morning chat, and it will fill the auditorium. So I walk in and say, okay, it's all of our members. I'll say, this meeting is for you. I'm going to warm you up with a couple hot topics that I heard this week. And, because there's things that people get a little hot about from time to time. And we end up usually at the end of these meetings laughing and having a good time. And but it's a time for the members to raise their hand and say, hey, I have an idea. I have a suggestion. And so I get up in front of them 3 hours a month in 3 separate hour-long meetings. And it keeps me close to them and keeps them close to me. And I like the size of our community. I've worked for larger companies. I had a larger job where I was before. But there's a bit of intimacy when you know everyone there. And you've known some of these folks for 20 years. And you know their families. And the same thing with our employees. It's our team members, same thing. So it's I would strongly advise anyone who's listening, look into this field. It's a great field to work in. There's so much satisfaction you get out of it. And you get to learn from brilliant people. And the thing about Peconic Landing is we're really resident driven. When people come there, you're not going to take these brilliant people and put them on the bench. We have like 36 clubs and committees. As I said earlier, we have 3 residents who are elected, and they attend sponsor board meetings. They speak freely with the sponsor board. They have a say at the highest level. And we present the budget. Some companies will send a letter out, here's your budget increase for the year. We do an hour-long budget presentation, then we do focus groups afterwards. Our annual audit, we do an audit presentation, and then we do focus groups afterwards. So, and we just want to keep people informed and know there's no secret guy behind the green curtain. It's about transparency. It's about having folks have the ability to have a say in their home. And the same thing with our team members, have a say in the workplace where they are. We've all worked for bad bosses before. We've all had one or two in our career. And what we do is we strive to train our leaders to be coaches. We do PIPs. We do performance improvement plans. We don't want to lose talent. We don't want people to go out the door, especially in this market. But even before the pandemic and we saw working people move from the North Fork because of the price of housing out here, we always felt very strongly about valuing our folks, listening to what they have to say, and then acting on what they say. So we just try our best to continuously listen to the 2 populations we serve, and that's our members and our team members, and do the very best we can by them because they deserve it.
Yes. And even just looking to the future, are there any, you're probably always creating new programs for the residents. What other programs do you have in mind for the future?
Well, first I'll say, it's not just us creating new programs. Our residents are creating new programs.
Yes.
I mean, these folks come in and they know what they want. They want a new gym. Our gym is about, we built in 2016. So, it's 9 years old. They want a new gym. We have a colony of artists on the property now. I think we're going to have to build a new art studio. I think our signature pieces will be an area of wellness, something we've done very well for. We're recognized, as I said, number 1 in North America. We've been nationally recognized for years for it. When I'm talking about wellness, I'm not just talking about fitness. We're talking about meditation. We're talking about yoga. We're talking about, we have a beautiful pool there. So I think we want to upgrade our amenities for the newer members coming in, because the newer members coming in are like you and I. They've worked out in real gyms. They want a real gym, so we're looking at that. We have such a huge art committee and art group. I think we've outgrown our art studio already. So we'll look at things like that. I was told a long time ago when I came into this business, the number 1 daily quality indicator a member will judge you on is their dining experience. So we have a number of chefs. We've added more chefs, and we're looking to upgrade our dining cuisine. But right now we're very highly rated. And I just want to go back to our employees again, and they work hard. We're open to listen to them, and because of that transparency, they listen to us and trust us back. So we did the best companies to work for survey this past year, and the average score for a company was 57%. We scored 89%. We took the Workplace Excellence Award in the nation for our industry in 2013. And I got to go up on the stage in front of, I think, 12,000 people and take it. So, and that's through confidential survey. So we're also a data-driven company. I miss that whole piece. We survey our members. We survey our team members. We get real information, and then we act on it. And, in this day and age of being able to crunch numbers and what you can do with computers, when I got into the nursing home industry, there was one computer in the building.
Yes.
And it was pumping out the big green and white striped paper,
Yes.
the huge printer. So, technology has helped us, I think, immensely. But we can't have technology get between us and our members. So we try not to text back, and we can do mass texts. We try not to send out mass emails. That's why I have in-person meetings 3 times a month.
Yes.
But what are we looking at? We have more units of density. We would like to add a little bit, add a couple more apartments up there. We don't know what that will look like. We have struggled, and I mean struggled, to find a way to find an ability to build workforce housing.
Yes.
It's something we were looking at very hard. I mean, we have the property, we have the sewage, and we have the water, we have the trifecta. But what we really don't have is a funding mechanism for it. So we're working towards that. That's something we'd like to do in the future because, as I touched on earlier, the hardworking men and women, a lot of them can't afford to live out here anymore.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, when I moved down here years ago, 21 years ago, I had a bigger home than I have now in East Marion in Fairport, New York, beautiful suburb of Rochester. They said, what's the one thing that would hold you back? I said, I can't afford to buy a house here. Mm. I'd been an executive in 4 hospitals and a national consultant all over the place, and I couldn't afford to buy a house when I moved down here. Mm-hmm. So we would like to find a way to do some type of workforce housing so that we can help with the solution for our folks on that property, because we are the second largest employer. We would like to increase our amenities, and we're seeing a need out here now for more assisted living. So we are looking at assisted living right now, seeing if we want to add that. But I'm very proud to say right now, Peconic Landing is in the strongest position it has ever been in. Mm-hmm. COVID knocked us down, but we got back up and moved forward. So right now we have our highest occupancy we've ever had. We have the longest wait list we've ever had in terms of people trying to get in there. And there's a real demand right now. And we're I'm having people call me, hey, is there any way you can bump me up the list? No, I'm sorry, I can't. Our health centers are full. Mm. So there's a need out here for more senior services. Yes. The one thing we are growing very successfully is we created a 5th company. We have a home care agency now. So we started it to serve our members on the independent apartment side and the cottages, because we have 111 cottages. But now we're serving the greater community. And that's growing very fast. And Peconic Landing has a very high standard in terms of excellence in care. Our rehabilitation units, one of the top ranked in the nation. U.S. News and World Report top nursing homes every year, 5-star rated. So anything we do, we go at it hard. We focus for excellence because again, we're taking care of people.
Yes. And like you mentioned earlier that right now you mentioned there is a waiting list, and it would be good to even expand to create more room out here for that. But you mentioned just the affordability out here. Is it hard to recruit staff out here because of how expensive it is?
It is. But we've done a pretty successful job because we focus on a couple of things. Number one, we want to create a great workplace. Mm-hmm. We have a Working Wonders program where if you join a gym or you go for a walk and you have a card, you fill it out and you get Peconic Landing gear. Mm-hmm. So we strongly encourage it. We had over 70% of our employee base doing wellness activities at one point. I think we're down in the high 60s now. So we have to push that forward. And that's a program I created many years ago. I'm a certified personal trainer. I believe in fitness. I train every day. So I think it's a good lifestyle to have. I think it gives you energy, vitality, and I think it gives you focus. I think it's good for your mind as anything. So we strongly encourage our folks to stay healthy. So they get to use our gym for free, our pool for free. Our pickleball courts are at their disposal. We just built bocce ball courts. We have Hartrue tennis courts. So basically any amenity we build for our members, our team members have access to. We're doing golf lessons right now, and we have more ladies in the golf lessons class at Island's End than men. Jules is in it. So we provide a lot of opportunities, and we also try to run Peconic Landing, even though it's a large not-for-profit, reports to a uncompensated board. We try to run it like a family business. So it's small out here. We know each other. So we have kids events. We have swimming lessons for the kids at the pool. We have a lot of different things. So we try to value our people beyond a paycheck. Mm-hmm. I asked a guy years ago, I said, how do you value your employees? And he was a guy I really respected. He was a hard-nosed guy. He ran his company. He had a military background, and that's not a bad thing. And he said, we value them every other Thursday when they get their paycheck. And I didn't like that. What I thought is, if someone's going to come in there and they're going to give you your best, you need to treat them better than that. So we have a very good benefit program. Our package is very good. We have a philosophy that when someone is sick or they have a family member sick, the last thing we want them to worry about is how they're going to pay their mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So we have good benefits. We're competitive with wages. About a year and a half ago, I went to the members and said, folks, I'm sorry. I got to pass on a big increase to you. And we pumped $1.9 million into the hourly staff.
Wow.
In 1 year. We ate the health insurance benefit premiums, and we raised everyone above $20 an hour. Mm-hmm. And we said, we got to do this. It's the right thing to do. So, and then it is a not-for-profit mission-based organization. When we do have surpluses, we can do more for our employees, and we do that. I'll tell you the one thing which is amazing, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say it here. We're a not-for-profit mission-based organization. Our staff cannot take tips. They're not allowed to take tips. You can lose your job if you take tips. So our residents have a committee, and the committee works to do an annual holiday appreciation fund. We call it. It's done before Christmas, but it's a holiday fund, and the residents donate to it, and generally it's over $500,000 a year, and it's split up among our employees by hours worked. When I came there, I took all the senior leadership out of it because I thought I don't need tips, and neither does the vice presidents or the directors. Yeah. So it goes directly to the hourly staff, and so they get a nice bonus every Christmas because our members are very generous and they're very grateful for the services that they receive. So we have some competitive edges because we have that. We pay competitive wages, and we have a very good benefits program. But don't underestimate creating a good work environment, because a lot of people think that money fixes everything. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. Again, if you're sincere with your folks and you value them, you're going to find ways to. We just had a summer soiree. You come there, you bring your family. We're all together as family. We have summer golf outing. We do a lot of things I can't even think off the top of my head. But the point being is, we want to make sure that our folks know how important they are. Yes. They're all rock stars if they work at our company. That's the way I look at it.
Yes. And you probably heard this even working within the health field, but I think we are seeing a rise, an increase in the senior population, and people are living longer. And I think that's something we as a country or society need to focus on even more, because I think we do tend to push seniors, I think, aside and we're always focusing on the next generation coming up, but I think that's not the correct way to look at things.
Our listeners can't see me smiling at you, but you are so on point. Peconic Landing is a great community because of the people that live there. Mm-hmm. And because we have created an open community where we use their wisdom, we follow their lead, we ask what they want to do. We want to make sure that this is their home, this is their community, and they're so inclusive. It's the least cliquey community I've ever been to, and I've been all over the country, from Florida to Texas. I consulted all over the place before I came here. Long Islanders are very inclusive. There's it's a very positive environment, and people don't come to Peconic Landing to retire. They come there to become artists, and I mean, they've never been. We have art shows and we have artwork all through the property that the members have done. They've come there to become fit. There's a gentleman that goes to the gym and he walks by me every day and he comes back and his shirt is soaking wet and he's so fit. And I'm thinking, this guy's 80 years old. We celebrated 2 years ago 16 centenarians, and 4 of them, 102 and 103-year-old, lived independently. So yes, they are living healthier and longer lives, and it's because of healthcare, access to fitness, but you can never underestimate the socialization aspect of living in a community like Peconic Landing. I was walking out last night the elevator, and I heard a resident say, "I don't know you." She said, "I just moved in a week ago." She said, "My name is so-and-so." And she says, "Well, my name is so-and-so. Let's have dinner." Mm-hmm. And I was like, I walked out the door and I felt satisfied because that's the type of community it is. So it's you don't take these people with wisdom and all this knowledge and expertise and like you said, push them away, where other societies for years have looked up to their elders and said,
Yes.
we value our elders, the wisdom. So,
Yes.
no, you put a big smile on my face when you made that comment, because you're 100% correct.
Yes. And then even now, just for you personally, what do you enjoy about living and working on the North Fork?
Well, I will tell you a couple of things. Number one, I just came back from Aruba. I'd never been before. The North Fork is beautiful. Aruba's a nice place to visit. I live in East Marion. I have a 3-minute commute. There's a real feel out here. My kids all went to Greenport High School, Oyster Ponds. They have great friend groups. They come to my house. They're just great friend groups. And I will say something, and this is something I've always wanted to say to the greater community. When my wife was sick and my wife passed away, the community took care of my family. They sent me food. They checked on me. They made sure we were okay. They took care of my kids. They made sure my kids were ready for SATs, the teachers in the school and everyone. And the community stepped up for me at the worst time of my life. And I'll always be loyal to this community because of that. The beauty of the water. If you have a problem, walk down to the water and take a look at the water, whether it's the bay or the sound. It makes everything look small. It's beautiful weather. Good people out here. I've made some very good friends out here, and I have a job I love. So I think there's a lot of reasons that I enjoy the North Fork. I liked the climate. I'm from Western New York.
Yes.
I don't care if I see snow ever again in my life, to be honest with you. So I lived in Rochester and in Binghamton. I mean, it snowed on Halloween when I was trick or treating as a kid. So no, I'm very happy with a lot of things down here. But the one thing I do like is about the small town feel is I like the way the leaders out here all work together. I like the way the politicians all work together out here for the community. What you see on the national stage is a different thing. Out here, people work together for the benefit of the community, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing. I just think this is the time of year too where you get to go to a lot of fundraisers and get to see people and talk to them and catch up. So this is my favorite part of the year, July into September. But we have a great hospital here. I'm very proud to be on the advisory committee there. I think my family were all frequent flyers to that hospital. But so no, there's a lot of great things out here, and that's why unfortunately we got discovered.
Yes.
20 years ago, it was a different world, but I still love the world it is out here.
Yes. And then just lastly, for you personally, what are your hopes for the future of the North Fork and its community down the line? What would you hope to see?
Well, I think this is a cliche because everyone says it. Everyone who discovers Long Island wants it to stay just the way they found it.
Yes.
Okay, and that's not going to happen, right?
Yes.
I think that's the way that they're managing growth right now. For the most part, the farms are still we still have farms here, not huge subdivisions. I love that.
Yes.
I mean, yes, I have to drive to Riverhead for some things, but I'm driving by farmland. I'm driving by beautiful property. I grew up in a suburb. I lived in the city. I just love how beautiful the country is out here, and I hope they'll continue to do that. I love the fact that we could serve the land out here, and we keep it so it can't be developed. It's a beautiful place, and that's why people want to come here, and this is why people have discovered it and moved here. So let's kind of keep it a little bit like it is, and let's not overbuild it.
Yes, definitely. And then I'd just like to ask people at the end if there are any last minute things you'd like to say or discuss that we haven't touched on.
I would just say that I'm just very proud of what we do at Peconic Landing. I'm very proud of the people that work there because they make us great. I'm very proud of the people that live there because they made our country great. I get the best of both worlds. I get to kind of be a coach, and I get to be a leader. And I have great people that work there, great people that live there. My board of trustees is outstanding, and it has been since the day I got here. And they're all non-compensated, very considerate, very smart, and they truly care, and they ask hard questions. So it's the type of board it's the best board I've ever served in my entire career, and I've served a lot of them. I've served some tough hospital boards, but these folks are smart, they're savvy, they volunteer, and most of the time they're not only volunteering on our board, they're volunteering on other boards in the greater community. So these are really, leader servants.
Mm-hmm.
They're serving their community, but by being leaders. So I'm very fortunate to have a very strong and conservative board of trustees, great leadership team, great boots on the ground, the people who show up there every single day. But without our members, we're nothing.
Yes.
They're why we exist. They're our mission. And I'm very proud to serve them every single day.
Definitely. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast today and share your story, as well as all the work you've done for the community up here and creating this wonderful asset for our community. It's really important. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Well, Chris, thank you. And again, hundreds of people created that community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just fortunate enough to operate it right now.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed episode 205 with Bob Syron. I want to thank you for listening to the Floyd Memorial Library podcast, and we'll see you next time.